Welcome to Pagan Crafting. I'm your host, Kara. Today, we're going to make a blood moon triple goddess dream catcher. We're going to go over a little bit of history, a little bit of folklore with the dream catcher, how to make this gorgeous dream catcher or variations alike, and how to use your dream catcher and where to hang it. We'll go over that at the end of the video. Stick with me today and let us have some fun with Pagan Crafting. So the supplies we're going to need today are a piece of driftwood or any branch will do, some embroidery floss, some brass rings, some leather, some crystal if you'd like. You can wire wrap that and hang that, suspend that at the top. Beads, assorted beads, much as you like. Assorted color feathers, you can see my theme of my colors going on, and a yarn needle as well. Starting off with the brass ring, you want to find where the weld is together so you're able to snap that easier off. If you go right where the weld is and use some good wire cutters, it should pinch off quite easily. Having a little difficulty to mine. There it goes. Super easy. You're going to spread that apart. We're going to make that into a crescent moon now. So gently coax it apart. You may need to kind of pull it forward and back a few times to make sure it's even. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it in a leather wrap. My little hint and tip, don't have it dead on. Have it when you start your wrap to have it on about a nice little angle there, and it makes it easier to start your wrap. Then you're not overlapping so much of the leather and you're not wasting as much either. You want to just overlap the top bits just by a tiny bit. Just peeling off the excess glue there. Reinforcing it with some hot glue. And what I like to do when I wrap it with leather, even though this is a faux suede leather, I like to keep it as flat as possible, not allowing it to twist up. You can see I keep smoothing it out here. It creates a nicer finish, and in the long run, you'll actually wound up using less leather and saving yourself some time and money. And the finish looks a little, looks pretty nice too. So it takes just a little bit longer, but it looks sharp when it's done. So you can continue to wrap it all the way along. Now you could also use yarn. You could use cotton, you could use nylon. You could use whatever you like. Just the leather or a nylon looks really sharp as well. If you can, try to use the more natural items the best. And finishing off the end, what you want to do is add a little bit glue to reinforce the last bit of the wind, and overlap it ever so slightly as well too, and that'll help you out in the end when you're anchoring off your knots when you're doing your weave in your dream catcher. Again, reinforcing the last little bit. There we have it. Now we're going to use a yarn needle. They're plastic and they're flexible, and they're really great to get into the small spaces when you're weaving your dream catcher. I'm using embroidery floss here. It is great, it is sturdy, and it ties great, and the knots lock beautifully. Now, authentically, we should be using sinew, but for this piece, I went with all red. I do have sinew on hand though, which is I'm going to save for a later dream catcher later this summer. Now, a couple ways you can go in. You can come in from behind, then you go down and a loop up and pull through. I'm leaving about an inch space, inch and a little bit. That's about an inch. A generous inch. Alrighty, next one here. Same, repeat as before. Coming in behind, I use it kind of as a marker. I hold where my finger goes, and I hold the line as it and it helps keep it in place when you're starting off the dream catcher. Now, the wider you make these first ones, the easier it's gonna be. The smaller, like I'm doing here, if you're starting off with about an inch on your dream catcher for your base, then it's going to be a very tight and small weave. Usually you would start off like a 2 to 3 inch spacing, which is really nice, especially around a very large frame such as this one. But I'm feeling a tight weave and I think it's going to look super sharp. I'm just going to take my time, take breaks, and we'll go from there. So as we're getting near the end, we want to stop, do a little knot, and we're going to start coming back on the same place. Now just tie a little knot at the top, however you see fit, whichever is easiest for you. Now we're going to slowly start to come back. So you want to start off with an anchor knot and repeat. So now what you can do, another way you can, is using the brunt end of the needle. You can drop it in and just pull it through, and there is a way to run the weave as well. So whichever way is easiest for you, again, I'll show you. Drop it in and you just pull it through the bottom half and it anchors in. I can't do it. It's just so much easier. I've been weaving for years the other way, so I'm just going to be able to go a little bit faster doing the way that I'm accustomed to. So you have a couple ways to choose from, or you may find something different. As long as you need a little anchor knot every time you come through it. It should pull over and give a little tug, and it creates a nice little knot. And you using my thumb and my pointer finger to hold the knot in place as I go along, and it creates a very tight weave. So we're talking tennis tight. Well, not that tight, but I think it's pretty awesome. again, just a little anchor knot at the top. And remember how we wrap the leather? That'll actually hide it quite nicely. I wrap it around just the little base of that leather wrap at the top, that little nub. And I keep wrapping everything in the same place, and it looks really nice, and it keeps everything really clean looking. All right, now we're ready to go back again on itself. But I'm running out of thread, so I'm just going to resupply here. Add in some more embroidery thread. Now, one thing I find when you're doing dream catchers and you're using embroidery thread, the cheaper thread you go, the more it's going to get knotted up as you continue to weave through. For some reason, the cheaper thread doesn't like to, it's not as smooth and tight as some of this, what you can get in the fabric stores or specialty stores. So sometimes spend that extra 50 cents or $1 and it'll just make your time a little easier. And save you time constantly having to unwind little knots that like to constantly battle with you. Yes, indeed, my friend. I myself went with inexpensive floss, and I'm discovering it can be a little frustrating at times, but that's okay. I still went for the color more than the quality. I was looking for a certain color red. I'm picky about my reds. I'm fine with that. So you can see I'm keeping it really tight, and the weave is already quite small. Keeping it that way, I like it. Again, if I would have started with 3 to 4 inch spacing, then right now I'd probably be at 1.5 inches spacing throughout here. But these ones are going down to about 1/2 inch spacing. Now I'm switching over to some black to finish it off. So I'm waiting till I'm at the very top to hide the piece, so you don't have to start off with the black going halfway through. So always give yourself extra thread when possible. Now as we're getting in, there it is, I got cheap thread there, so it's kind of got backed up there. Now when we're using the yarn needles, the plastic ones, because you can get metal ones, but I'm telling you, my love, go with the plastic ones, because going through these small little holes when you're weaving, it's nice to have the bendy needle. It's nice to be able to push it through and get in there without having to be hard on your fingers. And you are definitely gonna really thank me if you get one of these little darning needles. I got a pack of 5 for like $1. They're super inexpensive. And I think I just did about 3 rows there of the black. Just a little finisher. And there's our first moon. I wrapped a second, a third, and a 4th moon. Ta-da! Now what we're going to do, I think I will do a dream catcher on this as well. 1, 2, and 3. I think they're going to be a goddess. I was playing around with this idea. Whew, I almost went with that one. That one looks really cool too, or the god, the deity. But I already made them, so we're gonna go back to the Triple Goddess and put that with the top big crescent moon. Yes. Now I'm playing around with some ideas how I'm gonna lay out my beads. I have some wooden beads here that I've collected from some old 70s necklaces from some thrift stores. Laying down some red carnelian beads with some black resin beads. I got a little mixture of everything going on, and I'm thinking I'm gonna have them draped with the feathers. I think that'll look really sharp. Now I need to be able to hang everything. So I'm ready to grab my piece of driftwood. Keeping it tight as well, not allowing the leather strips to crisscross. Again, just look sharp, and you'll wind up using less product that way too. And wrapping 6 lines around this as well too. I counted the other one. Do a little crisscross this way, and it helps anchor the piece before you start wrapping, and then the leather wrap won't unravel and you won't have to glue it down. I love this piece. My little bird, I love him. I found him in the mountains in Alberta. Oh no. Oh, ta-da. Will it stay? Will it stay? I want to write about there. Oh no. Okay. All right, we got to fix something here. I'll be right back. All right, I rewrapped it. I had to use his little nose, his beak. I'm so sad. But it stayed. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Yes. Okay. Now back to business. Where were we? Oh yes. What we're going to be doing now is hanging the giant crescent first. And then what we'll do is we'll build off that piece. So we're going to grab 2 pieces of equal length of the leather, the faux leather piece. I'm going to use a little glue for reinforcement before I tie it on. The weight of this is not as significant as you would think. It actually doesn't weigh very much at all. But just this is the main piece that is going to be hanging on and holding on to everything. So I'm just going to give a little extra love. And doing a reef knot. Remember the Girl Guides knot, this Boy Scout knot, left over right, right over left. That's what I'm doing here. Left over right, right over left. And it's called an anchor knot, and it looks super sharp too when it's finished. Now this part. Oh my goodness. You have to like piss around with it a little bit. I really had to fiddle with it quite a bit. I think that was like the longest part of this whole piece, so excuse my head in the way, but I had to keep lining it up, and because if this part is off, then the rest of the piece is gonna look off and it's gonna drive me nuts. So might as well get this one lined up first. So you're gonna have to fiddle with it a little bit. You're gonna have to mess with it a little bit. So don't tie your knots too tight right away, so you can go back and forth and adjust them. And then I had my knots at the top and the back. Next, I'm gonna add just a little under loop there of another piece for my center full moon. Lining up my pieces. I think it looks good. Have my triple moon, my 2 crescent moons. Yes. With my full moon, I think it looks sharp. All right, now I'm going to be adding some more leather pieces to the side so I can mount some feathers, because we're going to be needing some feathers in this. Now, we're going to add some beads here too. I did a wire wrap. Now with the wire wrap, what I did, I was struggling to I couldn't find anything really that I wanted that would really hang on to it well enough. I tried thread, I tried the embroidery thread can't go through each and every one of these beads. So I found wire that worked the best for this. So I want to tell you something really cool about the dreamcatcher. It is traced back to Canadian and United States Ojibwa. In various forms, the dreamcatcher is part of many indigenous cultures across Turtle Island called North America. The dreamcatcher originally had a single function in protecting the young. Among the Anishinaabe, these netted charms were initially used to protect infants from colds, illness, and evil spirits. Dreamcatchers created from willow twigs and netting of sinew were traditionally suspended from the cradle board to prevent illness or bad dreams from reaching the baby, as much in a way the spiderweb captures the insects. In the Ojibwa language, the dream catcher is called a sab-ikshin, the inanimate form for the spider, meaning the dream snare. Isn't that cool? The apoteric magic, from the Greek meaning to ward off or protective magic, is a type of magic intended to turn away harm or evil influences. I thought that was cool too. As in deflecting the misfortune or averting the evil eye. The apoteric, let me try it again. Aprapaic, observances made practice out of superstition or sometimes out of tradition. Some of the modern uses of the dream catcher continue to be used in traditional manner in the communities and cultures of origin. Derivative forms of dream catchers were adopted into the pan-Indian movement of the 1960s and the 1970s as a symbol of unity among the various Native American cultures, or as a symbol of identification with the Native American or First Nations cultures. The name Dreamcatcher was published in a mainstream by non-native media in the 1970s and became widely known as native crafts item by 1980. By the early 1990s, being one of the most popular and marketable First Nations item there is. Now, how to use your dream catcher. What you want to do is you want to hang it above a crib. You want to hang it in a window. It must be exposed to sunlight. Dreams will get caught in the webbing, as at the spider, like at the dream snare. Filtering the bad dreams, letting the good dreams flow down and comfortably to the person who is dreaming. It prevents and holds the bad dreams into the feathers that are adorned onto the dream catcher. So each morning you must fluff out your feathers and make sure all the bad dreams are out so it doesn't get overloaded. Using them each night will help prevent the bad dreams and protect you from evil spirits and to ward off any evil doings. Adorning with the beads that I've chosen here helps tinkle away and spread away magically the bad dreams I will have at nighttime. I'm choosing red and black. Black just being a coordinating color that is absolutely gorgeous with the red. And the red in the dream catcher symbolizes good fortune, passion, and love. Black being a symbol of protection and a ward off any evil. So adorning each corner with the wire beads, clipping off the back of it with my wire cutters, so to clean off the edges so it won't scrape the back of your walls. And there we go. Almost done here. Well, thank you so very much for hanging out with me today. As always, it is a pleasure crafting with you. I want you to say, have yourself an absolutely magical day. If you enjoyed this video, throw me down a little like. Ring the bell if you want to know about when the next video comes out.